to help you find the right candidates faster. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time and Jim Telemonti.
Northbound Tri-State traffic is slow from Archer to 47th Street. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, traffic is packed. From the Tri-State to Kennedy at Canfield, there was a crash there. To get from O'Hare to downtown, trip time is 50 minutes. 27 from Montrose, 15 in the express lanes. Outbound 36 minutes downtown to O'Hare. On the Eisenhower, it's an hour and 9 minutes from 390 to downtown. 53 minutes from Wolf. Outbound 36 minutes downtown to 390. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 25. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 14 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Bishop Ford, 23. There's a crash at Sibley. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560, Weather Center forecast, breezy, pleasant. Sunshine and some clouds today, high 79, a low of 58, and clear skies overnight. 64 degrees officially at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
Mike Madigan runs the Democratic House floor for 30-plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out.
Dan and Amy coming to you live this morning from Signature Bank in Rosemont, their world headquarters, launching our Signature Bank Business Boost joint, which we'll talk to Brian Duncan from Signature Bank at the top of the hour more about. By the way, the... I don't have a business to boost, but I want to give one. Can you hear me? No, I don't hear you. I don't know. Can we... you need to turn your microphone on so the people out there can hear you. Okay. Well, I don't. It's a technical workshop here. With respect to the author of that song, the songwriter and the singer, Tim O'Donnell, he's left Illinois. And by the way, he sent me another song, so we'll have to review that and see if it's airworthy.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, there you are.
Did he take out Mike Madigan?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. It's a whole other topic area. He's expanding his oeuvre. So we'll get to that. But as I understand it, despite the fact that we lost one Congress being, Jelly Belly is saying that people aren't really leaving Illinois. It's not a big deal. Everything's fine. There's nothing to see here.
It's great. We're reopening. Great. Phase 5 Friday. Woo!
So let's check that with Ted Dabrowski, President of Wirepoints, wirepoints.org. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Is that right? A few people leave and sort of the natural attrition, people retiring to the Sun Belt and so on and so forth. But all of this loose talk from hysterics like me and you about an exodus, that's just not true.
That's right. Look, we've seen many places who can just grow their way out of problems just by shrinking. No, I'm kidding. It's really hard to have a really robust economy and thriving economy, and people earning more and having more opportunity if you don't grow. And Illinois is shrinking, one of the 3 states that shrunk over the last decade, and yet Pritzker and his press speaker are trying to just cover that up and say, hey, don't worry, things weren't as bad as we thought they were. We still shrunk, but just not as much, and that's just bad thinking. And it's, again, one of the ways of kind of pulling the wool over Illinois' eyes, on it, just like the budget and everything else.
Give us your, since we just concluded another regularly installed session of the General Assembly, give us your top line. Give us, your summary in 90 seconds or less of what people should take away from the recently concluded session?
Well, first of all, it's not over yet, right? They're back, and so they're back to do more damage, and we can talk about that energy bill and other things. But the overall thing is that it's going to be more expensive to live here. There's more corruption. They didn't solve any problems, and I can't help but say it. Life will be worse overall, with the exception of all the bailouts that came from the federal government. Life will be overall when that free money, when that large S is gone, that free money's gone. It will be more expensive to live here, and the opportunities just won't be as good as they are elsewhere.
And the only thing left to do is ban coal-fired plants and put a elected school board in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I was hoping that the bad news is over, that the damage that we would be saying that the legislature has done is finished. But they're back this week, and what's left are two big things. But that energy bill is massive, and if you're worried about corruption, and if you're worried about the kind of mess that the Illinois legislature can make, this is it right here. Massive subsidies for nuclear, increased rates for people. But what's amazing about this whole thing is it's the green push. And the green lobby wants this new deal so bad, this new energy deal so badly, because it will have massive amounts of construction, of new energy, closing of coal, and that means all kinds of construction and prevailing wages, which means union wages for government workers, project labor agreements. So everything will cost a lot more, and ordinary taxpayers will be paying for it.
And are they trying to close nuclear plants as well?
Well, no, there's a threat. Exelon's threatening to close 2 or 3 of the plants. They say they don't have enough money, and so that means ratepayers, ordinary people, need to pay up and pay for it, and that's what they're demanding.
What's the state of mass transit? Speaking of money pits, and how is that going to be financed long term if you don't see a real return in ridership?
Well, that's going to be the big question for the big cities, including Chicago, and we're going to have to see whether what happens to a place like Chicago. There's still tons of money flowing from the government's federal government as well to mass transit, and like the Metropolitan Transit Authority in New York got $4 billion during the crisis from that Fed facility that Illinois also borrowed from. So you're going to see them pour tons of money to support it, but the question is there going to be enough ridership? Are there people going to trust the system, or are we going to have enough people living in Chicago and the denser cities to make that work? I don't know, but you can expect the subsidies to kick in more and more and more.
I want to do a thought experiment with you. I did this on Twitter over the weekend. I was surprised from those who responded how anemic the responses were. Nobody really challenged the premise very much. And the question is this: how would Illinois be different if all 177 members of the General Assembly were Democrat socialists, rather than having super minorities of Republicans in both chambers? If you just eliminated them all, 177 Democrat socialists, would Illinois be any different?
No, I don't think so. You mean we didn't have Republicans, we just had Democrats?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'd be that different. I mean, you've got a handful of Republicans who I think are really good at pushing back, but they're just a handful. They're not enough. So from a voting perspective, it wouldn't be any different, and their voices aren't heard either. They're the Republicans are the ones who do speak up are shut down. So I don't think it'd be that different. There is no, and yeah, I'm still looking for that platform from the Republicans. What is their platform to make them different from the Democrats? They need to be bold, speak up, but until they do, Dan, your question is a good one.
We're speaking with Ted Dabrowski, president at Wirepoint, Inc. And Ted, what is the future? I heard that there may be a third version of House Bill 2789, which would give Pritzker and the IDPH control over private and religious schools.
Oh, that's a big one. There's been pushback on that. It's I want to hope that as you see more and more parents speak up, that thing dies in some way. But you can bet they'll continue to push it. Right now we've got the big trying to remove the mask mandates in schools and things like that, which is of course Republic. But I'm happy that I see more and more people pushing back on that. And so does that extend into stopping IDPH from controlling private schools? God knows in the state. Right now we're in as I've said before, the pendulum is swinging grossly against, let's call it the freedom movement and the reform movement. But how far does it go? I wouldn't be surprised if IDPH does try to take over control of the private schools in that sense. It shouldn't surprise anybody.
Well, speaking of masks, do you have any suggestions for, there's a group of moms, we want to do something to try and get our kids free from masks next fall. Any suggestions for us?
Leaves the Chicago public school system.
Can't do that. We wish we could, but we can't because we have these things called ex-husbands. But also, and our kids, when they're a certain age, when they're 18, you can't really tell them, oh, you're going to transfer to this school. And
Are they 18?
They're going to be in a few months when they're at school. So,
yeah.
But what can we do, Ted?
Well, we put the data out there at Wirepoint, and it's data doesn't really matter these days, but that's the only thing we got to hang our hat on. And we put the data out there, and it's a slam dunk that masks aren't needed in schools. Period. When you look at the safety of children, there's only 19 children who have died from COVID. It's far riskier to go for kids to ride their bikes or cancer, or there's a lot of other things that have killed many more kids.
Car accidents,
than COVID
drowning.
Has. Car accidents, yeah. And then 83% of elderly are vaccinated. So, we've gotten to a situation where the people that need to be protected are protected, and the kids have no risk, so let's go. And we just got to keep making that argument. And I see moms getting together and being strong. I don't know if it's going to work at CPS, but I think at some of the other public schools it will. But it's going to take that continuous fighting. And I see the fight in a lot of moms, some dads, and you just got to keep going at it.
Now, looking for a sign of a pulse in the Illinois Republican Party, Don Tracy, who's the newly minted chairman, he's a lawyer from Springfield and a successful businessman, family business. He posted a piece at Real Clear Politics that actually does something I haven't seen an Illinois Republican title holder do in a long time. It actually tackles our cultural issues here. And specifically that sex education legislation the Democrat Socialists moved that focuses, imposes an elementary school curriculum focused on instruction about the full range of sexuality, sex acts, gender perception, and so on and so forth. For example, kindergartners will be taught about consent and distinctions between sex assigned at birth and perceived gender. Third graders will learn about the ability of hormone blockers to forestall puberty, and so on and so forth. And Tracy has actually taken this up. It seems to me that, and this is a sort of a quasi-policy and political question, if you don't take up these issues that are curriculum related in K through 12 education when it comes to this identitarian agenda, both in terms of critical race theory and things like this coursework that I'm describing, then you're just not relevant to the conversation because that's where the fight is.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's some places, like at Wirepoint, we're trying to talk about the finances, but the finances don't matter if the culture doesn't matter. And we saw that with COVID, and it overtook any. Who cares about finance? It's all about COVID and control. When you talk about schools, who cares about finance? It's all about this culture. And so you're absolutely right. And I think Don Tracy got some support from the polling that was done by Ogden and Fry the other day that said 70 to 80% of Illinoisans opposed that stuff. And I think that's what we're forgetting. Sometimes the press in Illinois is dominated by the left. You got the courts, you got the legislature. We forget that the ordinary Illinoisans, a lot of them are just either quiet, can't keep up, don't know. But when pressed on issues like these sex ed, and I encourage every Illinoisan to go look at the details of the sex ed. It's extreme. It goes so far that when they do polling, 70-80% of Illinoisans oppose it. So the Republicans can start to look at some of these reactions by ordinary people and say, okay, hey, we can speak up about cultural issues. Do it in a smart way, right? Do it in a whatever you want to call it, reason and logical way, because eventually the arguments will win out against these extreme laws.
It's been remarkable to me for, I don't know, the last 25 years I've been in Illinois politics or in and around it, which is they take extreme positions on that are unpopular. They do not speak about it reasonably. It's just all demagoguery and name-calling. And the Republican Party leadership, as it's been constituted over that time period, is consistently cowered by that approach. It is one of the reasons why Illinois is the worst governed state in the country and why you're looking for a pulse in the Illinois Republican Party, because, frankly, it is a party full of cowards and the complicit, those who are interested in the spoils of war, getting cut in on the action in Springfield, these pathetic surrender Republicans that have been charged with the party for so long. So for those who are looking for a fight, looking to take up the fight on these matters of conscience and substance with respect to K through 12 education and on so many other fronts, if you can't present a compelling leadership team, then you're not going to have any seat at the table. You're not going to be successful, and that's, to me, why the Republican Party hasn't been successful, and it will continue to not be successful.
Yeah, Dan, what I've noticed in the 12, 13 years I've been doing this is that they always want, Republicans have wanted a seat at the table, despite the fact they're a minority all the time. They want a seat at the table, and by being at the table, they end up joining in on bad deals, bad laws, bad policies, thinking they made them a little better. Well, they get no credit for making bad deals a little better, and so the Democrats have continued to get bigger and bigger majorities over time, and they still think that they should follow that same policy. Well, I think instead they should be more principled, lay the law down for what they believe in, sell that message to the public and see if they can create a real second party in Illinois, because right now we've only got one party.
He is Ted Dabrowski, President of Wirepoint, wirepoints.org. Ted, thanks as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Are you a successful advertising sales professional? Are you happy with your current company? I'm Mike Reed, Senior Vice President of Salem Media Representatives. 2020 was a record year for our company, and that momentum has carried over to this year. As a result, we are looking to expand our sales team. Each day, our national marketing strategists work with CEOs, chief marketing officers, ad agency executives, and buyers to construct successful multimedia ad campaigns. Salem Media Representatives represents hundreds of radio stations, including several of America's largest contemporary Christian music stations, the Salem Radio Network talk shows, and the Salem Podcast and Influencer Networks. Our national marketing strategists enjoy a competitive yet positive management supportive environment and a competitive compensation package. If you're a successful advertising sales professional, let's talk. Email us your resume at sales@salemreps.com. That's sales@salemreps.com.